Hey, this is Stacia, and today we're going to look at a pretty interesting key blitz game. So this goes into a line that I've been fascinated with probably for a couple months now, which is the Two Knights Fritz variation. And if you haven't seen it, it comes from the Italian game. So this is the Italian game. Knight to f6 is the two knights, and then knight g5 can be played, right? Because they're hitting f7. We pretty much got to go d5. It's the only real move. There is another move. This is a real move too, I guess. But, I mean, top grandmasters would never play it. It's not exactly sound, but it's totally fine if you're, like, under 2,000, I would say. And so anyway, d5 takes, and knight d4. Yeah, and this is the Two Knights Fritz variation. So the normal way to play is knight a5. This is the main move. And then this happens. We attack that bishop, and the bishop retreats somewhere, usually e2 or d3. And these positions are quite fun for black too. Like, so there's nothing wrong with this. I do think the main line is totally fine, but I'm just fascinated by this move. I used to face it as white, and I was always surprised at how crazy the game got. So it doesn't look like this move does anything really, you know? It's like, okay, so you put your knight here, I can kick you with a pawn. Like, what's the point? Well, the point is after c3, we can play b5. And notice in the other line, they went check and here and stuff. Well, there's none of that, right? The knight's actually stopping all of that stuff. So they go c3, and after b5, that bishop is actually quite short on good squares. Like, every single square has an issue. This one, I take him. This one, he blocks the d pawn. This one, I take him. And this one, well, he lost time. But bishop f1 is actually the best move in this position. Okay, but a lot of times people will take the knight, and that's what my opponent did. So, and this is, you can play like this as far as I know. Actually, I'll check the opening book. Bishop f1 has like 200 games, and c takes d only has 16, so it's not a normal move that masters play, but they do play it. So after takes. Now white has some options, right? They can just develop if they want, like this move, I guess. They could check, they could just castle, they could move their knight back, they could also, I don't know, do different stuff. So there's a lot of choices. I mean, of course, oops, I mean, this is a choice. So, and I do see that move often, and you can actually play queen takes d5, which again is pretty interesting, because if they take, we take here. We're also on this. You can notice that this is not open yet. So, but my opponent played queen a4 check. Now, I'm pretty sure I've seen this move before, but it's hard to say if it was this exact position or not. But I thought knight d7 is what I had in my flashcards. Queen d7, I remember, is also good, but it's hard for me to understand why. But let's go with knight d7. I played this in the game, and they went knight to f3. Yeah, knight d7, I like, because basically I'm going to prioritize development. Now, if they take the pawn, we take that. So they really can't do that yet. They have to save the knight, so that's why my opponent did that. And then I can play e4, and the knight came to e5. Yeah, I think this happens in my, I say flashcard, but it's really a line I have in Chessable, but it's just that I made it myself. Okay, so this, I mean, our knight's pinned, right? So there's no taking that. But here, I think I recall that just developing as quickly as possible is good. So I went bishop d6. Yeah, there's one master game in this line still. Castles. Okay, now there's no games. Okay, so after castling, I can just castle. I don't see why not. Yeah, I did castle. Yeah, and I kind of like the black position. So it seems to me white's up a pawn, right? And they could win another one, but I guess they could even take it with a knight, possibly. They could do that, but I don't think these pieces look too good, so they got to be careful. So, okay, my opponent decided to trade on d7, so I took with the bishop, gained some time. I figured he wants the pawn, which he did. Yeah, and like the computer gives -4 for black here, which is just crazy, right? Because white is up 2 pawns, if I'm not mistaken. But we've got 2 bishops. We've got this strong e5 pawn. That's sort of important. The defensive f3 knight is not present. He's gone. And that makes it start to feel a lot like a martial attack. If you know what the martial attack is, I play that a lot. And so I was starting to see a lot of martial type ideas here. Moves like queen h4, and then g3 and queen h3, and then see if I can, you know, get my bishop in there and just checkmate on the light squares. So this is looking good to me. I had no clue it was -4. Okay, so I went a6. I'm going to turn the engine off because I do want to explore this a bit. a6 is probably not the best move. I really doubt it is. But I figured this comes with tempo. I'm threatening to win material. So it's probably best to keep the bishop now that I think about it. Like, okay, if I was going to guess the best move, I would think it's queen h4. Queen h4, g3, queen h3. That sounds pretty good. So I'll see what the engine says. Yeah, queen h4 is the top move. Queen g5 is another one. Now this move, you know, walks right into d3. So what does the computer have in mind? It's like, oh, just kidding. I'm attacking. I step out with a mate threat. So, and then they have to go g3 anyway. But this time we can get our bishop in. Clever computer. See, the other time the queen ended up on h3. Well, we could have stepped back to h5 there too, right? Like if queen here, could do this. I don't see a problem with that. Yeah, this is all good. Wow, so interesting. So, okay. Okay, but I played a6. I wonder how bad this move is. Computer says after a6, it's only -2. But then he goes here. Okay, I'll turn that back off. Okay, so of course during the game I didn't even know if I was better or what. But I saw the attacking chances I have. So I did go queen h4 now. And so g3, kind of have to play that. Queen h3. And he took that pawn. Now I was kind of hoping he would take that pawn because I was planning this move. I also had rook e8 ideas. But when I saw this, I was like, okay, does this just win? Because if that queen moves away, that's checkmate, right? So if here, just here, that looks like checkmate to me. Not too often you get to checkmate on f1 like that. So actually here they played what I thought was, it's probably the best, probably the only move, rook h4. Just saying, okay, like, you attacked my queen, I'll attack your queen. So now let's try to figure out the best move here. So, I mean, there's definitely queen takes rook. There's definitely bishop takes queen. And there's definitely retreating our queen. So maybe here? I don't know. I was going to say there's something like this too, but after they take our queen, the king will have an escape square on g2, so can't do that one. But, okay, well, I thought if I take their queen and they take my queen and I take here, I mean, this does look fine. I'm sure it's winning. That rook is really stupid right there. So, but yeah, actually this looks awesome. Oh, computer says white's fine after d3. What? Really? I'm a little surprised at that. I mean, what about this, right? Like, this looks annoying. They probably just go, yeah, bishop b3, they just block it. That's a very Marshall type move too. All right, anyway, so that way doesn't really work then. So I decided to take the rook, and I thought this is interesting because if he takes my bishop, I can then keep the queen on the board, and that seems better to me. And I liked this better than just retreating. Computer actually says rook a to e8 is the top move. Wow. But I thought once they take here, we take, or we play rook e1 check. Both are good. Okay. Now they can stop the check with king g2. And then we come down anyway. Yeah, and this move's coming. I don't know when the computer wants to do it. Yeah, and it's sort of unusual that the bishop's hanging. So they kind of have to go knight c3. Oh, wow. Actually, I missed this. We have bishop f1 check. Like, why take a pawn when we can skewer them and win a full rook? Wow. Okay, I didn't see that idea. That's pretty cool. So in that game, though, I took like this, and they took my bishop. So, okay, I just won material then, right? Because that was an exchange. And I still have my dark square bishop. So I then took a pawn, queen c6, and there's still lots of ideas here. One idea is to threaten f2 like this. It's almost comical. It's just like, hey, I'm gonna take that. what are you gonna do? So he went here. Yeah, I mean, I guess there really is no defense, is there? I mean, he's planning on running to h3. So this is pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, wow, Engine really likes this move. It says this isn't the best move because white can play queen takes c5. Yeah, and the other one it wanted to play was this one. Yeah, this is going to be really bad. It's giving queen to c3. But I would definitely check. King g2. I mean, we do not have to trade queens at all. I would just take. Yeah, now they're going to be running around. They're going to get mated, basically. I don't see how they don't get mated here. This is the top computer move, but doesn't this just run into rook g1? Yeah, I would think it does. They kind of have to take, and then we win the queen. Okay, so he went king g2, I take here. Now my conversion, you know, not too good. Queen f5 check. Okay, I'm just messing around for now. Save the bishop. Okay, knight c3 comes in. Let's get all our pieces in the attack. d4, the bishop's opening up. So white is, you know, they're using the pieces they have left. So rook e1, no, I don't want you to develop your bishop. Okay, they go here, takes. Yeah, and actually I messed up here. I didn't have much time. But I think I should take the rook. So when they took this way, I was quite happy, because then I still got to take the rook. And then rook c8. I did not know what to play here. I was like, how do I continue? What do I do? So I just made sure there's no back rank mate. Here comes the d-pawn. Yeah, this is getting a little bit iffy. He pushed. Okay, but now I'm just going to win that pawn. Yeah, and I think it was here my opponent actually just ran out of time. And so I did get the win. Yeah, and it gives like mate and 6 here, which you can definitely see. Like I was just focused on not losing, but you can see that there's going to be so many threats coming with the combination of the rook and the queen. So yeah, interesting game, right? Quite. I love this opening. I think it's super interesting. So what's the first move I would do different? I think I would play all of this the same. Castle? Yeah, why not? Take, take, take. Probably I wouldn't play a6. Yeah, a6 is a little slow. I mean, I saw that it has this threat and I just played it right away, but it's not precise. I mean, precise is queen h4. Queen h4 is just, it's like a Marshall type position. So nice. So, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll be back with more chess. Okay, bye.